It is so obvious to me that the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef was a complete waste of time for anyone who did not directly profit from it. And yes, I know this may seem controversial, but it really shouldn't be. Because when you look at the rhetoric surrounding this beef and what has come from it, nothing of substance has been produced by anyone who didn't directly take dollars from it, right? The streaming companies made a bunch of money. The labels made a bunch of money. Drake, Kendrick Lamar made a bunch of money. Everyone associated with them made a bunch of money. But we didn't make any money. And we certainly didn't get any closer to unifying as a people. Case in point, all of the comments on every single post surrounding this beef. No one cares about Drake being a PDF file. Nobody actually cares, because if they did, well, they'd be pushing for some sort of case to be brought against him. They'd be pushing for justice. They would be protesting because someone as big as Drake is not being held to the same standard as everyone else. He hasn't been taken to court. Nothing's been found against him. And look, I know the evidence that people bring up. It's perfectly fine, and it certainly does enhance their case. But until there is a case brought against him, until he is actually given papers and told to appear in court because of what he's done, because of a list of victims, because of people who have come forward, I have to assume that he's innocent, because that's the notion that we are predicated on, right? Innocent until proven guilty. Oh, wait a minute. It's not actually about that, is it? It's about finding someone to sacrifice. It's about finding someone to cast to the gods, because you pray that perhaps sacrificing this individual, sacrificing the lamb or the goat or the ram, is going to help you. It's going to make your life better, when in fact all it does is make you feel better, briefly, for a tiny bit of time. And that's why people continue to revisit it, is because it ended a long time ago. It wasn't really relevant at all to begin with. And now we have to keep bringing it up because people have to find something to make themselves feel virtuous, to make them feel good, to make them feel like their lives mean something, when, well, in the grand scheme of things, their lives probably don't mean much at all. Now, look, this may seem harsh, but you tell me if I'm crazy on this. Does anybody actually care about the issues being addressed? I don't think so. I mean, let's go to the Kendrick Lamar side of the equation. Everybody who supports Kendrick Lamar, they don't actually want to unify as a collective. They don't want to unify as people who are looking to improve their own lives, who are looking to take care of their health, their wealth, their spiritual, and their emotional fitness. They're not looking to unify around that. They're certainly not looking to unify in order to put pressure, to put heat on politicians, to put pressure and put heat on a system that is systematically destroying and decimating them. No. They just want to glaze Kendrick. They just want to glaze. Glaze. Kendrick Lamar, K. Oh my God, crown of thorns on his head. He's Jesus, he's the Savior, we need to worship. That's all it is. It's just Kendrick worship. And I love Kendrick Lamar. I'm a Kendrick fan. I love his music. Reincarnated should have been played at the Super Bowl. Why it wasn't, I don't know. That would have been a great song in my opinion, because I think it's one of the best songs I've ever heard, period, point blank. Especially in hip-hop history. Reincarnated is fantastic. And if you look at his discography, I think it's far and above Drake's. But it's so obvious that it's not about that. It's not about who's more talented. It's not about the music. It's not about the bars or the rhyme schemes. It's not about competition. It's not about competition. And certainly not about sending a message either. Because sending a message would be acting differently. Sending a message would be living differently. Sending a message would be organizing, would be gathering resources, would be putting heat on people who are influencers, would be attempting to change the system that is crushing you day by day, that is stepping on your neck. That would be a statement. That would be something that I could get behind. But I can't get behind this. And I don't think you should either. Because I think it's a giant waste of time. I think it's a huge distraction. And I think it's simply meant to placate the masses. It's a simple dichotomy of sacrifice and worship. You sacrifice someone to the gods so that maybe, just maybe, the pantheon will bless you. And then you worship someone because maybe, just maybe, following them will make it so that you don't have to sacrifice someone in the future. But of course, the worship doesn't work, and so then the sacrifice has to be made, and then you find someone to worship, and the cycle continues. That's what this really was at the end of the day. Everyone wanted the drama. Everyone wanted the beef so that they could feel good about themselves, so that they have something to talk about, so that they'd have a gossip piece to discuss with their friends and strangers. But they certainly did not want any change. That is for certain.